the head of the DEA here, and I have to admit that in recent years, we all want to get the big guys. Well, we got to get the street dealers to selling to our kids, causing havoc. If you look at the history recently, you'll see every time there's a violent crime, it looks like there's a drug background across our nation. Now, one thing I wanted to prove a point, since we also run the jails, and everybody booked by law enforcement comes through these doors, so we have the luxury of looking at the statistics of everybody arrested in the county. And I wanted to get a history of how many of these inmates are there for drugs or have drug-related crimes. And the statistics, out of 26,000 that we checked on, 7,000 were in this jail, or are in this jail for drugs. 7,000. And of that, 5,000 had other serious crimes. Murder, domestic violence, burglary, you name it, they have a drug background. So the bottom line is, if we could do something about the drug problem, we would reduce the crime problem. But the bottom line, I have a special unit with our narcotic detectives, the posse, analysts. We're going to hit the streets and we're going to arrest anyone that sells drugs on the streets, around the schools, you name it, and put them in jail. I have a passion for this because I know what the drug use and drug activity does to our young people, causes criminal activity, causes violence, and something has to be done with it. So I'm going to do it. This operation will probably be 3 months long, and we'll keep it going. But let me tell you one thing, we're still going to arrest the major traffickers, most of the drugs coming in from Mexico. But my big concentration right now, the streets of Maricopa County. That includes Phoenix, every city, every area in this county, and I feel that we will send a message when we come in with our final statistics to prove a point, the big drug problem we have in this county. Now, heroin is coming back. That's a big issue here in Phoenix, across our nation. So we can't just talk about it. In my experience, heroin is back. The White House will now start talking about it because the people are concerned. So everybody's going to be concentrating on heroin, and they'll forget the other drugs. You got to hit all the drugs, not just one drug. So that's the message. We'll see what happens on the arrests in 3 months. If we get anything exciting doing this operation at Nashville, I'll let you know.
When do you guys begin it, and how many people are you going to put in?
Can you hear? I couldn't hear you.
Now.
Okay, what's the question? How many people?
The question is, how many of your deputies and posse members are you going to put it in?
Well, we figure maybe about 50.
50 altogether,
Yeah.
a combination?
Posse, analysts, our narcotic detectives are there anyway. We're just switching the priority a little to hit the streets.
When do you start?
Pardon?
When does it begin?
We started it, I believe, last week. Another thing important when you hit the streets, You pick up intelligence, you pick up informers, so you never know where that activity is going to lead you to solve other crimes, because we do know that 60% of the criminals in there have a drug background. So if you hit the drugs, who knows what other crimes we will solve in the process.
Sheriff, what's your stance on diversion programs for first-time offenders?
The what?
Your stance on diversion programs for first-time offenders?
You know, that's another issue. My job is to put them in jail, and that's another program they have, but we'll see how that works.
When you took on illegal immigration a couple of years ago, like 10 years ago, I guess, you had explained to me that you guys were going to go after smugglers and not the immigrants, and you used a parallel to the drug world. And what you said is, we don't go after the little guys. We go after the drug dealers, the people who are supplying this, because you can make more of an impact on it. So what changed?
Well, that was
want to go after everybody.
That was done when we didn't have the state laws on human smuggling and the employer sanctions. We didn't have those laws.
Yeah, but why go after? It sounds like you're not just going after the drug dealers now. You're going after everybody connected to it, right? No bus too small. So what changed over the years?
Well, we're not going to. You mean on the drugs?
Yes, yeah.
I never said we are only going after major drug dealers. I've always said we have to hit the streets too, but now we're going to concentrate on it. So you're saying I said we go after the big guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Even if I did that's really what we all law enforcement wants to do.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing: we're being flooded with drugs on the street, and crime is going up because of the drugs, and people are shooting each other that have drug backgrounds, including police. So we have to do something with the street dealers. I'm not going after the users. We're going after those that are selling drugs on the street level,
Okay.
not the users, unless we catch them during the course of our operation, investigation.
Why not the users?
Channel 3?
Yes, sir.
Who said why not?
Why not the users?
You know what? We're not going to concentrate on users unless we come across it. I want the dealers. I want the people on the streets selling drugs. And the point is, it doesn't have to be 10 kilos. I don't care what it is. It could be $15 worth. But they're selling drugs, they're going to jail.
What areas of Phoenix do you plan, or what areas of Maricopa County do you plan to focus on for this operation?
Well, everywhere. We can't be everywhere, but our jurisdiction is all of Maricopa County. Of course, we're not going to Gila Bend to get a guy selling $5 worth of marijuana. You know, Gila Bend is the big guys. We'll be there too. We run some task force, big task force, to go after the big guys. But I want the street dealers. And I know once you concentrate on street dealers, you're going to reduce this problem if they stay in jail. And you're going to solve a lot of other crimes because they are involved in other crimes, including murder. I can go sex. I can go right down this list. Drug connections with crime.
Let's say if you weren't to go after the big dogs, you're going after the street levels, they get incarcerated, the big dogs just find more people to deal drugs, and now all of a sudden you're breeding more drug dealers.
Well, that's a defeatist attitude. We know that we're not going to stop the drug traffic. I've been in it 50 years. It's still there, right? But my point is, again, we want to not give a pass to these people selling drugs on the streets. especially around schools and other areas. I don't care if it's in the center of Phoenix, Fountain Hills, no matter where it's at. And we're going to pick up a lot of information. You see my my hotline there. Very successful. We're arresting people off that hotline. People are calling in. They're fed up with this drug problem. Very successful hotline. And we're going to keep that thing going. And I put those signs up there about 3 months ago, knowing that I needed information from the public to catch these people.
Your critics are saying that this is being launched before your contempt hearing to divert attention away from the bad stuff that's going to come out of the hearing.
Well, you know, they can say what they want. I've had so many hearings. You think I'm going to stop my job? I must be pretty good in doing programs right before hearings, like animal abuse. We have these things lined up. This thing has been lined up for 3 weeks, and this date was picked. Have nothing to do with courts. We had to find the statistics. It took a little time to go through all these stats to find out what we have in the jail.
You said it would probably last 3 months.
Pardon?
You said it would probably last 3 months, but if it goes so well, would you extend it? Like if you were catching a lot of the dealers?
If we catch a lot of dealers, what?
You said the program would probably last 3 months, but if it goes so well,
Yeah,
then
we'll keep it going.
Okay.
But we're still going to catch the big guys too. It's a little special for me. As I say, I'm very adamant to go after the small guys. Why should they have a pass? They're selling the poison to users. So they shouldn't have any pass just because it's not a big seizure or a big case. In my enforcement career, sometimes you start from the bottom, you go up the chain. That's how you do it in narcotic enforcement. You need information, intelligence. That's how you do it. You get to the big guys from generating activity on the streets, and you go up the chain. If you can't go anywhere, anyway, they're going to jail.
So drug crimes are increasing, and that's what prompted you.
Well, the sales of young people, but recently I've been, every time I go somewhere, the parents come up to me. Sheriff, they're selling drugs to my kids in school, on and on. Now we have the heroin epidemic that's coming across the nation. I think in New Hampshire, they had some political activity there recently, and they asked the question, what's your top priority? It wasn't economics, it wasn't illegal immigration, it was heroin. The New England states are fed up with the heroin killing their kids. That's their concern.
Have you noticed a heroin problem in the metro area?
Yeah, it's moving up here. Yeah, we make heroin cases quite often. I'm not talking about the big ones, we do that. I'm talking about on the street.
Have you noticed an increase of drug usage?
Yeah, it's increasing here. All comes from Mexico.
The Somos America Coalition and Black Brown Coalition are having a town hall meeting at 6 p.m. specifically speaking about the court hearing to your case. Any statements before this, Sheriff?
Who's having a meeting?
Somos America Coalition and the Black Brown Coalition are having a town hall at 6 p.m. Any statements regarding...
Of course not. Who are they? Is that another organization?
Well, what about the upcoming hearings next week? What do you have to say about that?
Nothing. That's the way it is. I'm still doing my
You don't
job.
think there's anything that anybody in the public needs to know on your behalf? before they
No,
start reading stories
no,
about this?
I'm not talking about, I never do talk about that court case. I know the Department of Justice dropped their case. We signed a couple of agreements. So got rid of that one after 6 years, 7 years. So that's gone. That was the Department of Justice have been hanging around for all those years. So that's gone.
Anything else?
Sheriff,
Huh?
you
No,
have
it's
anything about the correctional health services and the jails being reaccredited. Do you have anything to say about that?
You mean the best run jail?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think that's very good. We have something to do. We run this jail. So that's great. Being known as the best run jail in the country, I think that's rather commendable.
Is there a
So it-
concentrated effort to gain that reaccreditation after the last 6 years ago?
What?
Was there a conscious effort to regain that accreditation?
Yeah. The correctional health worked hard. I don't, you may not know this, I'm not in charge of the correctional health. Those doctors and nurses come out under the county, not me. But they're in the jail. We work together with the nurses and the doctors, but I don't have management supervision. Of course, if they do something wrong, I can remove them from the jail, but they're a separate entity under the county. So I got to give them credit too for getting this certification back. Thanks for asking.
Sheriff, I've got a question about Michael James Rogers.
About what?
About Michael Rogers, who was just on his IA this morning, and he's the one that's accused of shooting the officer. Do you have him on your suicide watch? Do you have any special accommodations?
For the guy that shot the cop? Do I have special? Yeah, he's good.
Is he under suicide watch? Are you
No,
monitoring?
he's in isolation. He's not on suicide watch unless we feel that could happen. So he's in there. We got a lot of other people in there, about 8,300, which makes us the third largest jail and sheriff's office in the country. So it is a large. And I'm going to leave one more thing. I don't want to hear anybody say, which I'm going to hear, oh, sure, you know, you have room in the jails? I got plenty of room. I got a tent city over there that I have plenty of room to incarcerate these people. So I don't want to hear anything, a jail overcrowding, you don't have room, you're tying up all your beds with drug dealers or small dealers.
What about staffing changes?
What?
Staffing changes? Is there accommodation?
In the jail? Oh, I don't know how many more we're going to get. We're up to like 8,300. We'll see. We'll see how long they stay in jail. But they're going to be put in jail.
Are there other changes to officers' duties in order to track down low-level drug offenses?
Well, right now, I don't see any. We get 1,000 people. We may have to look at that. But we have 1,000 beds ready in the tents too, if we have to, or even in the jail. So I don't want to use the jail as a reason not to concentrate on street dealers because of jail incarceration. These are our cases. The cities don't have to pay. They pay us when they arrest the people. We're paying for that, for this, what you're talking about, out of our budget.
I know you guys don't like to reveal your investigative methods, but can you characterize to me how you guys are going to actually go after these guys? I mean, these street buys, I just want a sense to be able to explain to somebody how you guys...
But you know, I don't want to insult you, because I'll insult myself too. You and you want to go on the street? You think we can't score some drugs?
Yeah, but
Huh?
I'm just wondering how you guys...
I say that because it's so prevalent out there. So we have, that hotline is very critical. We keep getting calls and tips.
So you respond to that?
So, you know, in law enforcement and drugs especially, you do undercover work, surveillance, information, intelligence. So it's a there's no secret. That's the basic way
So it's a combination of all this that you guys are going to do, right?
whatever comes to our attention. And I want to thank all of you for being here, for putting this out. And I would hope that you look at our truck and kind of put that hotline number on there so we can get more information. I'm not going into universities. Well, that's something important. Not going to go into the schools. right now to make buys. But we may be around the schools, because I'll tell you, they got problems in the schools. You know that, I know that, and it's sad that these young people are using drugs. So the least we can do is get rid of those dope peddlers that are selling to the kids. So you're talking to a guy that's been around drug enforcement my whole life for 50 years, and here I am as the sheriff, getting up there in my career, and now I'm back to have a passion to do something about the drug problem. It's like going around in a circle. I've been doing this my whole life, but I don't like what I see around here. I don't like what I'm seeing.
Anybody got any more questions about this operation? That's it?
Hey, thanks for coming. Thank you. I hope you learned how not to do a press conference. These are our future journalists. I have great faith in them. They're up and coming. What was it, Cronkite? Yeah. Great school. You know, I talked before. They had me with a Arizona hat. Remember that when I was interviewed on the stage? They were going after me. So I talked in Cronkite before a big crowd on a debate with your school director. I didn't do that. I didn't do it. I didn't touch it.
That better not be mine.
Channel 12 has a lot of money.
Sure, how you doing?
Oh,
How's everything? We got here late.
You'll make the story up anyway.
Sheriff, I was wondering, I'm sure, you know, you were asked during a press conference, but
This isn't my lecture.
and I know, you know, there's some
The
things you
answer's
can't
no.
talk about.
The answer is no. This is for drugs. Would you like to talk about drugs?
Well, I want to know about the taking it to the Supreme Court. I want to know
I'm not
about
talking
the
about nothing except drugs. This is a drug operation. Did you get the?
We got the press release, but we're working on a different story. So I just wanted to get your side. I know there's things you can't talk about.
We're doing the drugs right now. If you want to talk about that, you're going to have to wait and we'll get to it after the call, okay? Let him talk to everybody else about the drugs and then...
You want to do it in Spanish?
If you, that'd be great.
Everybody.
I've been trying to get him to speak Spanish.
Rico's not here.
You'll leave a
Anybody else got drug questions about the operation?
I've got a side little thing. Ned Foster is retiring. We're going.
Ned is. Wait a minute. He's not the.
Yeah, he's the news guy for the...
No, you're thinking of
That's the other
Dan.
Foster.
He was the morning news anchor, wasn't he?
He's the morning news anchor, so we're going around to different newsmakers.
Morning newsmaker? What's channel?
KTAR.
Oh, the radio.
Yeah.
So we need to get a
92.3.
thank you from all
Can I
these
get into it?
newsmakers.
Yeah, but he wants something on tape from you saying to him.
Oh.